Most pest control companies aren't underpaid because they're bad at their work. Most of you guys are good technicians. They're underpaid because their pricing is wrong. Average residential pest control customer across the United States pays $418 per year. And for a lot of companies, that number is quietly killing their business. Hey guys, my name is Jonas, Olson, the founder of Pest Badger. I've been in the service industry for 17 years, and over the last 5 years, we've grown a pest control company from 1 location to 17 locations across 5 states. I use this channel to document how I think about building a service business and what actually worked for us. Today, I'm going to show you a simple 3-step framework to price pest control so you know if you're profitable, breaking even, or slowly going out of business. So as you guys know, I travel around the country and I talk to hundreds of pest control operators. And this is where I see them get stuck. I asked them how they figured out the pricing, and they said, well, I jumped online, I saw it on a Facebook forum, copied my competition, guessed, or they just charge you what feels fair. And that can work somewhat when you're a solo operator in a truck, but it immediately breaks the moment you try to hire your first technician, put someone else on payroll besides yourself, like a CSR, covering workman's comp, your insurance, payroll taxes, or just try to take the day off, and so the whole business doesn't blow up. So instead of guessing, we're going to use a simple framework. 3 steps, that's it. So step number 1 is understanding what it actually costs you to deliver the service. So before we even talk dollars, step 1 is actually starts with time. Pest control, fertilization, weed control, pricing is simply a time equation. You need to know how long it takes a technician or yourself to service an average size home or lawn start to finish. That means drive time, your setup time, treatment time, cleanup, notes and paperwork, and even talking to the customer. I don't care if you guys measure it by square footage of the house, square footage of the lawn, linear footage of the foundation, cracks in concrete, whatever. Just got to get the average service time per visit. So that way you guys know how long it takes you to service the job. For example, let's just say the average residential service takes 45 to 60 minutes. That's your baseline. Now you can translate that time into costs. So for you guys that are using a CRM, it's pretty simple. You're going to go into the customer's profile. You're going to look into the last, let's just say 4 to 6 times that you service their jobs. You're going to add those 4 to 6 times total, and then divide that by 4 or 6 to get your average time that you're on the job. So that way you can say, this job took me XYZ time, and this is how many square feet it is. Go into a few more properties that are similar, do the same exact thing, and then get your total average time it takes you to do a 2,000 square foot home, 3,000 square foot home, 10,000 square foot yard, 2,000 square foot yard. I don't care. Just measure it up, get the data. For those of you that don't have a CRM, you guys might have to go old school. Do the same exact thing. Go to a job. From start to finish, first, you should probably get a CRM. Second, take a stopwatch and just, start your phone, see how long it takes you from start to finish on each square footage of job so you can get average time it takes you on the job to do the service. Once you know the time, you can calculate labor costs, you can calculate vehicle costs, materials, and total service costs. That's how you get the real cost per visit. So across the United States, pest control companies average about 42.4% cost of goods sold. So cost of goods sold include things like your technician labor, vehicles, fuel, materials, and other direct service costs. So anything boots on the ground that it takes to deliver the service is your COGS. So let's apply that same $418 per year customer, right? 42% of that $418, roughly $177. So let's go. $418 is the customer, ACV, and your COGS are $177. So we're going to subtract that number there. So before you pay any marketing, before you pay your office staff, before you pay software, phones, or even yourself, $177 of the average customer value is already gone. So if you charge $418 per year, that money disappears just to do the work. That $177 is just to show up and do the work. And if you don't know this number in your business, you're not pricing. You guys are literally just guessing. All right, so step number 2. After your service costs, you obviously still have a business to run. The industry average shows operating expenses around 42% of revenue. That includes selling, advertising, marketing, admin wages, office overhead, software, systems, things like that. Now let's keep using that $418 average customer value, right? Because we use that means roughly $175 per year goes to just your operating expenses, right? So let's do the math. You have $418 in revenue, average contract value, minus $177 to service the customer in COGS. Now we're going to minus that $175 in operating expenses. Leaves you a total of $66 per year per customer. That's roughly $5.50 per month. And that's assuming that you guys have super efficient routes, not a lot of drive time. You have very little callbacks. So if you guys have $66, right, and you're paying a technician, say $20 an hour, and you have to send him back out there to that same customer to do one reservice a year, take that 66, let's go with $20 plus taxes or everything involved, right? $25. It gives you $41 in profit per year for that customer. Now, if you have one or two more reservices per year for that customer, you guys are obviously losing money. So one little mistake like this, and almost your profit disappears. You have very little left to work with. This is why so many pest control companies feel super busy, but always feel stressed out. All right, step number 3, let's price for profit. And here's the reality. The average pest control company operates around 15% profit. Not super aggressive, it's pretty healthy. I've seen obviously some do way less, and I've seen some do way more. I've seen 20, 30, 40, even up to 50% if they're a solo operator. But at that $418 per year, you're like literally right on the edge. So here's the rule. If you want 15% profit, your pricing has to support the service cost, has to support the operating cost, and then you add your profit to it at the end. Now, if you're super inefficient, your price just has to be higher. If you rely on one-time jobs, your price has to be higher. And if you want to grow your company, you have to have money to grow, so your prices just need to be higher. If you guys know me, I just like high prices. Using the same framework, your price equals COGS plus operating plus profit. So add up your COGS, add up your operating expenses, and then add 15%, 20%, 30%, 40%, wherever you guys want to be. This is how you get your pricing. It's not calling or looking on Facebook, right? Not looking on Facebook to see what everyone else is doing. It's not calling your competition to see what they're doing, because as you can see, every company is different. Everyone's going to have different COGS. Everyone's going to have different operating expenses. They're going to have a lot more route density. So that means it's less drive time. They're going to have economies of scale. So they're getting their products cheaper. They're getting their bait boxes cheaper. So every company is different. So don't go based on what other companies are doing. And a lot of companies that you guys are even copying their prices from, half of them don't even know what they're doing. So you guys have to sit down and figure out what it actually takes to service the customer in every single scenario. So when someone asks me, is $418 a good price for pest control? The real answer is it depends. That number really only works is if it's obviously reoccurring, you're super efficient, your routes are super dense, you have very little callbacks, and you run a super tight operation. If not, that price will slowly choke your business, and you guys will slowly go out of business. Again, most companies don't fail because they can't get customers. They fail because their pricing never supports their business they're trying to build to begin with. If this video helped you think about pricing differently, make sure to hit the like button and of course share it with someone else as well. But everything about this channel is built for service business owners who want to grow a real company. Again, I hope you guys found this super valuable, and I'll see you guys in the next one.